Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video, we are going to learn about the contribution of Muslim and non-Muslim scientists in the field of biology. So have a view on the name of the Muslim scientists which are included in your course. Ibn al-Hashim, number 1, Abdul Malik Asmai, AL-FARABI, Ali Sina, and Ibn al-Nafees. So the first scientist is the Ibn al-Hashim. His name was Abu al-Hasan or Ibn al-Hasan, also memorized as Ibn al-Hashim, and in the Latin he is abbreviated as al-Hasan. He was born in Basra, city of Iraq. Ibn al-Hashim was an astronomer, biologist, mathematician, and physicist. Hashim wrote approximately 200 books on science, especially in the field of biology. Second scientist is Abdul Malik Asmai. Born in Basra, Iraq, he is considered as the first Muslim zoologist as he studied animals in detail. The most contribution is that he described the structure and functions of the body parts of horses, camel, wild animals, sheep, and human beings. In his books, Kitab al-Khayl, which is written for the description of structure and function of horses, Kitab al-Ibil for camel, Kitab al-Wahush on wild animals, Kitab al-Shah on sheep, and Kitab Khalaq al-Insan to describe the structure and function of man. Our third scientist is Abu Nasr al-Farabi. He was a renowned scientist, Hakim, and the surgeon of the Islamic world. He introduced his two famous books, which are Kitabul Nabatat and Kitabul Haywanat. Kitabul Nabatat has a description on plants, while Kitabul Haywanat have a brief description on animals. The next scientist is Ali Sina, also known as AVICENNA. He wrote books Al-Qanun and Fizdib al-Shifa on plants, animals, and non-living organisms. The most important point from MCQ's point of view is that he is considered as the father of medicines. Ibn al-Nafees. Ibn al-Nafees was a scientist who first described the cardiovascular system, that is the cardiac cycle or the flow of blood in the living organism. He described circulatory system in short. Now have a look on the name of the non-Muslim scientist in the field of biology. So the first is Antony von Leeuwenhoek, Louis Pasteur, Edward Jenner, Galileo, and Gregor John Mendel. The first non-Muslim scientist is Antony von Leeuwenhoek. He lived in Holland. He was the first scientist who made more than 250 microscopes. Among these 250 microscopes, the most powerful microscope having a tendency to focus almost 200 to 300 times to the actual size of the species. These microscopes bear a little resemblance with the compound microscope of today's. Leeuwenhoek also discovered the protozoa and named those protozoa as animalcules. and in English the animalcules means very small. The protozoa also refers to the first animals. About protozoa, we will study the description of structures and functions along with examples of species in our chapter number 7, Invertebrates. Second scientist is the Louis Pasteur. He contributed a magnificent role in the development of microbiology. The two most important mechanisms proposed by Pasteur are pasteurization and number 2, fermentation. Pasteurization is a kind of process in which any liquid can be made disinfectant at the temperature of 62.8 degrees Celsius. Remember carefully, it is not the process of sterilization. Nowadays, it is mostly widely occupied method in industries. Pasteur also introduces the method of fermentation. In fermentation process, carbohydrate converts into alcohol in anaerobic conditions. Anaerobic conditions means the reactions which are carried out in the absence of oxygen. The fermentation is also a most successful method. Edward Jenner, he is famous on his technique of immunization. What is immunization? So immunization can be defined as a resistance against the diseases that can be done by vaccination. Jenner was the first scientist who discovered the first vaccine, and the name of vaccine is ampicillin. To control the smallpox, viruses, and poliovirus, his method of immunization is still using around the world. Galileo. He is considered as the father of observational astronomy as well as the father of modern physics. In the field of biology, he is renowned after the discovery of microscope. And through that microscope, the detailed examination of microorganisms were made possible. The term microbes is especially used to direct the species which can never be seen by the naked eye, or all those organisms that cannot be seen without microscope are called microbes. And these microbes may include algae, fungi, viruses, bacteria, etc. Gregor John Mendel, the father of genetics, he contributed in genetics by explaining the law of segregation and law of independent assortment. Both of these laws we will study in chapter number 16, Genetics. John Mendel was the first man who made a scientific study of genetics. That is why he is referred as father of genetics. Home task. Note the contribution of scientists in your notebook. Memorize the contribution of each scientist. Assess yourself. And guys, wish you all the best of luck.